don't know what happened, but we are now live. Sorry about that, everybody. I had a glitch, once again, just a small glitch, but we should be having some people coming in here soon. I have sent an invite on Facebook over to Heavy Metal Vapor, so, and he has seen it. I'm sending him a message. And he and Jacob are going to go head to head. But for any of you that did not catch my Time is Ticking Away originally that I did on Sunday, I do want to let you know that we now have a clock up in the upper corner of my screen. That clock will actually count down to November 8th, 2018. So, actually, I just realized I had changed this, so. But Jacob should be coming in here soon, and we should be getting a message from, hopefully Andrew will come on, because I'd love to see those two go at it tonight, just because there's been such animosity between the two. I'd love to see them go head to head. It may be 6 minutes before Jacob gets here, but I went ahead and started as soon as I got home. Anybody that wants to join, you're more than welcome. The link is in the chat, but I mean, really, tonight is a sad night. And I, first off, do want to apologize to everyone. I should have changed the time, but I was at work, got stuck, and yeah, the show's live. It should be live for you there, white guy. Just refresh your screen and it should be live. I'm just watching to make sure we have, right now we have 5 people, but hey, 5 is better than nothing. But we are going to talk about something that was on the vaping post, which I am going to post the link in the chat so that if anyone wants to go look at it, that is the link to it. I can see your opinion, Steven. I really can. I can see it. And Andrew Decline coming on tonight, so I agree they're not a ruling authority. Sorry, I have to eat. I just got off work, but I just posted a couple minutes ago, Jacob, but I'll post it again for you. Because I just talked with Steve, and he is not going to make it tonight. But I mean, really, tonight, we really don't have that much to talk about, simply because we did a small show on Sunday, but because I did just find out that Heavy Metal Vapor did back out. He decided not to do it. So he said he respectfully declined. He has plenty of other things to get done, which, I can understand. He is a business owner. And there's Jacob, just no video yet.
No video. Okay. Let's take a look.
Which I actually need to modify mine now. There we go. For some reason, this cam has a tendency whenever somebody else joins to change up.
No problem. So I had a quick little broccoli and cream soup, homemade.
Stephen, I do agree we do have a lot of other cases going on, but like we had said Sunday, I do look for them to use this case that we just had for some precedents in a lot of those. And I agree, FDA might change things, but as I've stated in the past, we're to the point right now, if nothing else changes, HR 2194 is our only hope.
Yeah, looks like that's what it's coming down to.
Yeah. And I agree, it's not an Obama FDA.
Yeah, I mean it's not the greatest in the world, but sometimes you have to take what you can.
Right, and it's better than what we had a few months ago.
A lot better, yes.
Now, if nothing else changes,
just sort of bring that up so I can see it. There you go.
And I'm going to invite a few other people just to see if we can get a few more people in here just to chat.
Yeah, that'd be good. More the merrier, as they say.
Exactly. I'm going to send to my normal list. And tonight I'm actually doing a regulated.
Advertisement. This is good. This is that French vanilla roast coffee.
Mm-hmm. I savor mine as well, Jacob, so don't feel bad.
Let's see, yeah, this is the first bottle I have. I've yet to get the other package, but
you should be getting it here soon, probably.
Yeah, I figure this week sometime. But yeah, still about good 2/3 of that left. Yeah, great stuff.
Well, and I do want to let everyone know, if you have not joined Ohms Anonymous's Facebook group, I highly recommend you join there. I am working with him on possibly doing a few waffles. And Josh, I sent you a link. If you want to come on, you're more than welcome. I sent it through Facebook. But we're going to do a few waffles for the website, and as well as we are going to probably do a few group buys. I'm going to sit down and figure out what I can do for the industry in that vape group at least, and do a few waffles. So do a few waffles and group buys, things like that, just to help people out getting things at a lower cost.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, I don't mind doing it. Yeah. And they loved the Minuteman e-liquid.
Yeah, it's a good e-liquid line.
But
very good indeed.
Josh, just so you know, okay, he's talking to the other Steven. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, what, are you not watching it? But I'm still dumbfounded that the industry took a crap that fast.
You mean on the ruling?
And I mean, I'm gonna side with both people here, Jacob. I can see both sides of the argument of carrying the product, not creating the product, but carrying it, simply because if you don't carry a lot of it, you're going to lose business like crazy.
Sure, absolutely.
Because people are going to want to go for that next best thing.
Sure, they're going to go to the next vape shop that's breaking the law.
But if you don't carry it, you lose all those customers.
Yeah, true. I mean, like I said on the live show I did, worst can happen is you get a FDA warning letter and you comply with it. But meanwhile, you make whatever you can.
And I'll be honest, I'm considering it.
Yeah, do whatever.
Just simply because, there's a lot of the newer products that, until we get that final hammer, or until I get a letter, why not make the money off of it? I mean...
Yeah. Well, I sent that multiple vendor complaint out already, so you're safe there, vaping, but I won't be sending any more of those out, so...
Hey, Josh, just so you know, you're on my computer, too. Oh, okay, it was an accident. He accidentally sent me a call, and you know what? We're going to try something tonight. Just for the fun of it. I'm going to, for anybody that would like to come, or anybody that would like to talk to either Jacob or myself, it can be to either one of us. I'm going to post in the chat a phone number that anyone can call. And you can call that and you can come through as an audio call. HR 2194 is our only. I'm trying to...
Yeah, you're getting a lot of...
I'm trying to cut things down in it. There we go. If anybody wants to call in, feel free. Those are the numbers.
Yeah.
So if you want to call in, feel free, and you'll come up as a call in. So if you don't want to come on as video, feel free to call. 1-408-638-0968. And it's meeting 398-578-742.
Is there like audio overlapping here? Or
yours was overlapping a little bit because you were hearing the audio from the YouTube video.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah, that's where you were hearing a little bit of overlapping.
Because I still am hearing it.
That's weird, because I'm not hearing any. Yours was overlapping a little bit because you were hearing the audio from the YouTube video.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it on my side.
Well, I am.
But, so what's everybody thinking about this court case? I mean, we already know Stephen Taylor's position. Which, I agree with it. And I'm considering maybe even doing later, letting people call in and doing contests. I got to talk to Steve before we can do that, but maybe we'll do a giveaway some night and you have to call in or something like that. Now, here's a question I want to pose to my viewers. What would you think? How many of you actually watch Fresh 03's show on Saturdays? Because I've considered switching the show to Saturdays at 3 o'clock. 3
Hey,
Eastern.
wait a minute. Listen, let me come back back into this room because I still getting that echo.
Okay.
Well, let me come right back into this thing here real quick.
But yeah, so what do you guys think of changing the time? Anybody have any opinions? And see, Stephen, that is exactly the thing you need to do. We do need to wait on the appeals and other things, and you do need to continue donating and calling, writing, emailing the congressional individuals, because I really think, like I've said, Congress is our only hope.
Okay, that's much better.
You know, I've never said, if I do it on Saturdays, I'm thinking maybe 3 to 4. And the only reason I'm considering doing it at 3 is simply because that allows for Steve to be able to spend time later in the day with his child. Hey, Josh. And it allows me to have a beginning of the Saturday and a late Saturday.
Hey, Josh. Enjoyed your company the last time you were on. I enjoyed that.
Well, you guys can always hit me up right as I get home. Like, as soon as I walk in the door, it's like, hey, come join the show. It's like, hey, can I eat dinner first?
That is 3 p.m. Eastern time.
No.
What?
I was like, can I eat dinner that's 3 p.m. Eastern? I was like, no. I'm at work and that's lunch. That's the time I go to lunch every day. So what's up with you guys tonight?
Oh, just...
No?
I'll be honest, I'm worn out. I mean, I almost canceled tonight simply because I work in a cath lab.
You're wore out. I'm wore out. I'm tired. I just got home.
You didn't do close to 60 patients tonight, round trips.
You also didn't go on a 5-mile bike ride today either. I'm pretty tired.
Andrew, that invite is still open. If you want to come on, you're more than welcome. I see you there in the chat.
No, he's not welcome. Heavy's not welcome in the show.
Yes, he is.
God damn you. Why would you open that invitation?
Oh, that invitation's been open since 10 o'clock tonight.
It'd be an interesting show. Come on.
He comes on, I'm muting and going back to my dinner.
I will say, though, a lot of people were taking up for you in Jacob's show.
Huh?
I don't watch his show. Sorry, I don't watch much of YouTube much lately.
That's all right. Not many people watch that live show anyway, so you're a good company.
I don't watch much of YouTube, period. I can't tell you what anyone's doing right now because I don't know.
Too busy working 6 days.
Well, now actually 5 days now. I cut back one day, so because I wanted 2 days off instead of 1 day off. Because 1 day off was starting to suck.
5 is enough.
Yeah, 5 is enough. Not much, Andrew. We're not buddies, but hello.
So I take it you're still on that 300 mils for $20.
Yeah. Still vaping it, dude. I gotta get rid of this. I gotta get rid of this juice somehow. I'm still working on the first bottle. It's not. I mean, it's good. It's moving.
Is it good juice too? Huh?
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, really good. It's a good deal.
Oh, okay. That's a troll account. Okay.
Yeah, and that's not his actual photo. That's not his actual photo either.
Yeah, because he uses his logo, doesn't he?
Yep.
But that is him. I can tell by the picture. So it's somebody.
Anybody could.
Oh,
that's
I know.
His picture. That's one of his old pictures that he used to use, but it's not his actual account because he uses his logo.
No, there's no videos. Well, there you go. No videos and 4 subscribers. That's definitely not him.
Unless it's like a secondary account.
Hey, Tristan, you want to come on tonight? You're welcome.
Troll accounts. Troll accounts, you say. Yeah, Tristan's like the king of trolls, so, yeah.
Speaking of.
Yeah, that'd be cool, Tristan. I invited him on the Make It Right series live channel, live show, that is, in a private message, never got back to me. You're welcome on to that live show anytime there, Tristan.
I just sent him a link if he wants to come.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I would say you interrupted my dinner, but I ate it all. I was sitting there eating dinner while. That's what I do. I sit there and finish my dinner while I'm watching the show. Because I literally just walked. I was heading home and I heard bling. Minuteman went live. I'm like, I'll be home to watch in about 10 minutes. Got home and I'm like sitting down and eat food and I'm like, I hear bling. I'm like, guarantee. I was like, I haven't even sat down and I'm not checking my phone. I'm gonna eat dinner. Pulled up Facebook and I'm like, yep, I figured. It was either you or it was Emma from Pit Cloud. Because she seems to be she's been messaging me all morning.
Oh wow.
And all day. I'm like, I'm at work. I'm busy today. Are you there? Yes, I'm there. What do you need? At work. Can't talk. Talk to you later.
And I will tell everybody, right now we're hoping, I haven't heard anything yet. I don't know if you've heard anything from him yet. But we're hoping here soon both of us will have some things coming up. And I agree with that, Stephen. I totally agree.
Prohibition is work. You know what? Yeah, prohibition.
It very well happened.
Stock up on enough 300
actually, you know what? That's going to be next week's thumbnail. I'm going to do something about prohibition, and I'm going to put something up with either Al Capone or...
Is that the Mage RDA you got on top of that box?
Yeah.
I was like, yep, I figured it was. I spotted it out of nowhere. I'm like, that RDA looks like the Mage.
Okay, from a distance, name the RDA.
That looks like... From a distance, you changed RDAs on me.
I did.
Looks like a troll. Or...
That should tell you right there what it is.
I'm on my telephone. I can't see that.
I can't even see that on my desktop.
I'm like, I'm on my phone. You want me to get this close? I don't think people want to see my eyeball.
The goon.
Oh, the goon, yeah.
I'm like, let me zoom in. People gonna see my eye.
Yeah, doing a Mike Vapes thing, right? Come real close up on the camera.
But
like,
now,
hey, I started the up close staring at you with the eyeball looking thing.
Let's get back to something that actually a viewer brought up to me today. Jacob, I don't know if you saw the link when I posted it in chat. I'm gonna post it again if you wanna pull it up. But this was put out right after 2194, and I'm only looking at part 2 because this is what they were trying to start on. They were starting on a lot of the same things that you said at first, and you still say a little bit, but I've shown you a lot of the differences of where it's not totally true.
Yeah, I don't have access to. I have to get onto my desktop there.
Oh, okay. But okay. in a line it says Duncan's bill is going to ban all devices that use 18650s, which you've said, but your main stance on that was because of the testing, which I've proven the testing and the batteries is wrong.
Right.
Ban all mech mods, that's true, and impose fines and jail time for anyone that DIYs juice or mods. That is not totally true. And I think you would agree with me.
Yeah, not all.
Simply because when it comes to the DIY side, they had actually earlier in this mentioned that it is going after business, their businesses, DIY of juice businesses. That's the key word.
The retail.
2194 flat out, I'm telling you right now, only is going after commercial. Please understand this. They cannot stop you unless they totally ban nicotine from being made in the liquid form and being sold to the consumer. They cannot they cannot fine you for mixing VG, PG, and flavorings.
Yeah, that's true, because it's not saying that in the 2194, they're not. That's not the vaping language in there, so therefore, it's not going to be prohibited as far as DIY.
Because
I mean, e-liquid standards will be in place, but that has to do more with retail level, wholesale or distributor level.
Right. And that's what people don't realize. I mean, I think a lot of people that quote that don't understand that point of view, flat out.
No.
They can't understand that these laws are going straight after business, not after the consumer.
No.
Does it affect the consumer in the long run? Yes.
No. It'll affect us in the long run, but they're not going to come after us individually.
No.
Unless, let's say, now, of course, if you receive something like, 5,000 bottles in the mail, all of a sudden they're going to wonder, are they distributed those bottles? Then it may pique their interest. But if you buy one or two here and there, I don't think they want to cut it off at the retail level.
I mean, honestly, here's what's going to happen. They're going to probably set a minimum later, because there's right now no standard for this. They're probably going to set a minimum or a maximum amount of nicotine you can buy at one time as a consumer, a maximum amount of the level. Like right now, they already make it next to impossible to buy 100 milligrams.
Like the UK kind of thing going on.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is on the consumer level, they're going to make it to where it is a little harder to DIY, because they're going to go after the nicotine side of it. They're not going to go after the DIY side of it. They're going after just the nicotine side. Like,
I guess. Doesn't really say that in the bill.
No, but I'm saying, you know me, Jacob, I try to play devil's advocate. I try to think of things that could possibly happen.
There's always options. Yeah, sure. You have to look
this
at all
right
the
here
options.
could be possibly the biggest amount you can buy.
You get nicotine. You get nicotine. Everybody gets nicotine.
Yeah.
Because that right there has almost lasted me 6 months.
Oh yeah. You don't need much. Very little.
Okay. Tristan, I sent it to you on Facebook, so he said he's going to.
This will be interesting, because me and him haven't chatted in a long time.
Yeah. Interesting, because I never chatted in live.
Last time we chatted about our differences.
Oh, Tristan and I talk a decent amount on Facebook.
I don't chat to nobody hardly at all. I'm a hermit crab. I stick to myself. You got to message me.
And like I've always told everybody, and I'm going to continue saying this till I'm blue in the face, if you do not get off your ass and go vote, and you do not get off your ass and go push against all these congressmen who are going against it, I mean, look how incompetent they are when it came to the repeal and replace of Obamacare. I mean, they just got 51 votes. And they've been going after it for 7 years. If you don't get off your asses and go support them and tell them you need to be against this, you need to fight. Get me some good legislation. If you don't, you know what? You need to just shut up and don't bitch about it when you lose your industry. Bottom line.
Yeah, the vaping industry should really be concerned more than anything. I mean, they should be stepping up the effort more than any entity. You know, they should really be concerned if they want to remain in business. They have a serious dog in the fight.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this flat out. These advocacy organizations, if they were organized enough, they should have done the same thing that the NRA does, Right to Life, people like that. Last year was the year to push against anyone that was anti-vaping. Did we hear one word from them as to a report card? Did they approach the congressman saying, answer these questions for us, let us know where you stand? They didn't tell us how to vote. They didn't help us make our votes.
The only thing that works on their websites is donation and member fee icons. The buttons work on the websites when it comes to that, no problem. But everything else is, you know, at your own risk.
But I mean, these are things that they should.
Yeah, they don't do anything.
They should have pushed for. And here comes Tristan. Oh. I know it the second I see that name.
Or Banger. Or Banger.
Hello, my friend.
Oh, there you go. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Why do I have no audio?
Well, you don't have any video
you got audio,
yet.
you have no video.
What? Why don't I have video? Oh, I see why. Boop. There we go. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Tristan, long time no talk.
Yeah, I've been busy. As you can see, I've gotten a lot of shit done since the last time we talked.
Oh, yeah.
We're a very group
And
of people.
actually, Jacob, this is something that you are going to laugh about. Convicted, I don't know if you've been following, they started their blacklist.
The Legion started the blacklist.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, the Legion.
It's all right.
I consider you guys one and the same because you run the group. The Legion runs the group.
I do, but like, I really don't generally do Legion things in CV. Contrary to popular belief, I only really call on CV for help when it's something that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Like when I look at that, I'm like, need more bodies. And I turn to my friends for help. You know what I mean? And it gets done because they're crazy. Like Legion's crazy, they're a whole nother level of crazy. Like Legion, I can go, guys,
They're
you know,
savages.
We've accomplished the goal. Stop now, CV. No, I don't care.
Yeah.
Nothing left. And I love it though. I love it.
I mean, you guys took out EVCA. That was enough for me. That was great. I put many good videos up on.
I could testify that CV doesn't stop
that was great.
when you asked him to.
I tried. I tried.
But
No,
how many?
They shut them down.
How many have you gotten to switch up, start changing now?
About 5 or 6 just this week alone. Candy King twice.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Twice?
Twice.
What'd they do? Make a Still Childish label the
One got worse.
It went to Kings.
What I've come to the conclusion is what they're going to try to do is try to find a label that, I'm just going to say it in plain English, to where I won't fuck their face and it's still child appealing. I have a newsflash for them. It doesn't exist. But I do want to touch on something that you said before, because I was trying to, do this and that at the same time. Well, talking about doing stuff with the advocacy groups in the NRA have a metric fuck ton of people.
Yeah.
Because SAS got 200,000 and it cost you nothing to sign up on the list.
Oh, yeah.
this community is pretty freaking large. That's pathetic. That's not Gasaw's fault. That's our fault.
Oh, I agree with that, but what I'm getting at is they should have went out, because it doesn't take that much to write up a survey and send to the candidates and say, we would appreciate so that we can support you if you support us. Answer these questions. When it's coming time for them to be elected, they expect to receive this stuff. And, if they could have gotten endorsement from the vaping industry, they would have still, you see what vaping did with Ron Johnson. They brought him back from the dead, basically.
Yes, they did.
And now especially, I want to see if they're doing something like that for next year. Because next year is when they need to be ready to do it.
They need to, Ron Johnson needs to subpoena the FDA.
Mm-hmm. He needs to stop pussyfooting around with it. To them. Like it's like no more letters, no more holding hands. You're right. It has to be done, and it has to be done now. Because by the time that comes to bear its fruit, we may not be here.
That's right. That's what kicks off that legal process.
Correct.
Just got to do it.
And also, I believe by submitting a subpoena to the FDA about the regs before Congress would also automatically, by default, put a stay on the regs, would it not?
Probably not. Unless the Senate votes. Now, if the Senate votes on it, depending upon what's in that subpoena, they would have to have the Senate vote on it. But I don't think he's going to. Just to answer questions. Have the FDA appear before the committee to answer certain questions. That's mainly what he's going to do. What he should do, let's say.
Right.
And then if they defy that, then it goes into the United States District Court to compel them. And then that's really when it can get nasty.
When don't they?
Well, it's taxpayer money, so they don't care, what I'm saying?
This is true. We're just footing the bill. Fuck it.
Exactly. If it was coming out of their own salaries, it'd be different.
Oh, what do you think of my clock, Tristan? The countdown timer.
Oh, the death clock? Love it.
I actually have that death clock on my website as well. Literally, I am running that death clock on everything that I have because
people don't understand how grave the situation is.
They don't understand it, and that's why I do the death clock. People need to get off their ass and do something. Bottom line, the four of us do something in our own way. Sometimes I think, Jacob, you go overboard, but
I'm a death laser from space, and you're more of an X-Acto knife.
Yeah.
I kind of retired and stopped poking my head in things where it didn't belong.
Takes a wise man to admit that, brother. Respect.
I poked my head in too many things and got burnt way too many times by it.
You're lucky we don't have perverts in here right now because they could take that the wrong way.
I've got a very dirty mind already. I can see where that just went.
Now I got this all figured out here. Nice.
You have to admit, Tristan, this is a great setup to do it this way, isn't it?
Yeah, this is good. I like this.
I'm surprised you haven't went to this for...
Oh, I'll always use VC forever.
The dire straits of it all is that the only probably, if nothing goes in our favor, the only vapor product, so-called vapor product left on the market will be the IQOS once that gets approved.
And just about any other.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And now, throughout the substantial equivalence process, those things will get flooded, like R.J. Reynolds, all those characters. So it'll go revert right back to big tobacco, big pharma, and game as usual.
Let me give you another little, because you notice all the things I said that would come to pass have come to pass.
Oh yeah,
and not like kind of come to pass, like they're here. And I called that shit in a year and a half in advance, which is impressive for somebody as shot out as I am and can barely put shit down.
Because you do your research.
Oh, too much, I'm afraid, too much. So, would you like to hear the next year and a half?
Yeah.
Well, there's two things. There's the possibility that we win. Okay, so we're not going to talk about win. We're going to remove win off the table. We're going to talk about lose, or things leading up to lose that could still mean win, and then they all play. So, why would they want only open systems? Think about it. Why would they want it? What is an open system? I'm sorry, a closed system. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Why do they only want? No, I had that backwards. I'm sorry. So why would they only want a closed system? It's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more controlled, is what it is.
It's not just that it's control; it's the addiction standpoint. What is the lowest you can get in a closed system?
Mostly 24.
Yeah. See, there's the thing. So what you're doing is you're taking away the lung fill that enables you to step down to lower nicotines with open systems. You're taking away the plethora of choices that make it super effective. Okay, all the options, different airflows, this, that, and the other thing. All right. And what you're doing is you're replacing it with a higher nicotine. All right. And basically, when you went from a McDonald's, milkshake straw to a coffee stirrer style airflow, which is basically nothing. So you're constantly sucking on this thing, trying to get your fix, just like a cigarette. The psychological bullshit we're trying to break as vapors now.
Exactly.
Or everything's going to be resorted to TFN nicotine because TFN nicotine doesn't abide by the regulations.
They addressed that. And they said that as long as it's in a closed system, it's good to go.
And who's going to be in control of that market? It's big tobacco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, I don't know if you saw this because none of you probably watch Indoor Smokers anymore. He had this huge vape mail today. Or, well, maybe yesterday. I'm not sure which. I watched it this morning. And guess what he gets in? Walmart closed systems.
See? They didn't tell us we could leave. We didn't have their permission. They're not letting us leave. They're not letting their cash cow leave. They know what we are. They're not letting that go and people move on to a better life. No. They won't, you know what I mean? Let's be real here. Do you really think the same government body that just approved how many more cigarettes for market is going to allow their cash cow to leave? The treatment is the money, not the cure. Vaping is the cure, so that's got to go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to make me go look at that video now.
Your mama.
As I always say, they have all the answers, but they have no cures.
Yeah.
They just keep the cycle moving along.
Of course.
People addicted.
Cycle of abuse.
Exactly.
You're literally going to make me go watch his video
that's
just to watch him open
big
the
I was called a crazy man a year and a half ago, and they all quiet. I love it.
Hey, Tristan, I was saying a lot of the same stuff. I was saying a lot of the same shit. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, because you were before your time on a lot of stuff.
Well, most of the stuff I was, I would say that. Some of the stuff I was a little bit behind schedule. I wish I got involved a year earlier. I wouldn't have to do stuff I have to do so fast.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I wish that I would have started vaping a year earlier, too, because I started my YouTube 6 months, and, I've went over this in a video. I started the YouTube 6 months into vaping. I was still dual using. I'll be honest, Tristan, I was still dual using. I've done this in a video. And I tell people this because a lot of people shoot down people that dual use. But until you find that perfect match,
correct,
you're not going to be able to get completely off.
Absolutely.
And you're still going to fall down, and it's not how many times you fall down, it's how you pick yourself up and how long you go after you pick yourself up. And so many, I noticed this in the community, at least the community I'm in, or that I was in, that so many times people shoot people down when they fall down, rather than
help them get
supporting them get back up. And that honestly is a negative for our industry.
Oh yeah, that's what makes us look like, they say it, a bunch of hipster douches. Because, we feel like we have a holier than thou complex. I mean, nothing for nothing. I mean, I will preach this shit to the fucking heavens. I just watched a convention go down where they converted 89 smokers. 89. That's insane. You know, we should be about building smokers up and bringing them in, not ostracizing them and making ourselves look like, you know, jerk-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now,
we're very spoiled.
I'm sure Tristan agrees with me. Jacob, I don't know how much you agree, but you probably will agree with me. Should the deeming regs come down and I cannot get a hold of any more mods whatsoever, you know what? I have at least one mod, well, 2 mods, that I will hold on to because they can never totally stop me, although they can pull me over and possibly give me a fine and put me in jail and confiscate it. But if I do it at home, who gives a crap? They can't come in and do it without having a warrant. No matter what, they can never take this from me.
Your mech mod.
Exactly.
Yep.
This will always work.
Mm-hmm.
It'll never break. And no matter what, because they sell 18650 batteries, I can always get a hold of 18650s no matter what they tell me.
You know what else you'll also be able to get a hold of no matter what?
What?
Lipos. Race cars. Race planes.
You can find them on Amazon.
Yep. Not always the good ones, though. I mean, if you're going to do them, guys, use max amps for Christ's sake. I know they're shitty, but at least they rate what they say they are as far as my knowledge goes. I will have to touch base on with that with Mooch later when I talk to him, because I was actually going to ask him that. So if shit goes south, you got those rated for me, right, buddy? So I don't blow myself up, right, buddy? Wow. You know, but I don't think it would be. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one of those dudes that's going to stock up on it, you know, for the juice apocalypse. Like I'm good no matter what. Anyway, but you know that then there's no motivation for me to do what I do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I can just sit back and relax and watch the shit hit the fan. I can't do that.
No.
I can't sleep at night knowing that
exactly.
We're gonna die.
I mean, you know, let's be flat out honest. When it comes to me right now, do you know how much liquid I make for myself?
I'm looking at it.
I bought this stuff right here.
Yeah.
What, do you have yours in front of you too?
Mine's on my shelf.
Oh, okay, so you did get yours.
There's this. There's the stuff that's got to be reviewed out there with me and Maddie, and then there's the stockpile of juice I've got that I haven't even gotten to touch yet. I'm still working myself away from juice from 8 months ago. I finally cracked open. I'm like, I have sent this? You know, I don't know.
Oh, by the way, did you ever get what Steve was supposed to send? Did you ever get what Steve was supposed to send to you directly?
Yes, I have it.
Okay.
I'm letting a state. Because, like you said, he said he calibrated the juice to be targeted towards smokers, which there really isn't enough of in the industry. A lot of the stuff is for, like, see, segueing into what I was going to say before. Like, here's the thing. There's not enough stuff on a retail level, in my opinion,
for the
smokers. Because the whole point of it is you're supposed to get a tobacco flavored vape when you start, because you want your brain's still in that mode of, you know, cigarettes, it's a nicotine delivery, this is where it is. And then you come in a couple days, it's the guy's job who works behind the counter to go, hey, maybe you might want to try a peach tobacco. You try that for a few weeks, and then it starts tasting like shit. Then you go, what's wrong with this? And they hand you a straight peach, right? And you go, oh, that's so much better. Your brain has started to disassociate nicotine delivery with something gross, which is tobacco. So, that being said, there's not enough of those juices that are in that that middle ground.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't exist.
See, though, the thing is, you know,
so
I'm sure, I think I've said this to you before, but I think you'll agree with me. You can tell the difference between regions of where e-liquid is made.
Oh, hell yeah.
On the East Coast, it is so light in flavor that you almost cannot even taste it. But then you go all the way over and look at a lot of liquids made in California, they're banging with flavor.
Yep, it's true.
I mean, people don't realize how regional e-liquids are.
No, they have no idea. It's you know what I mean? That's the thing, though. That's what's great about it, is that there's something out there for everyone. You just got to know where to look. But the problem with that is that smokers don't know how to do that yet.
Exactly.
The only thing they know is what's in the retail outlet in front of them.
Exactly. And see, that's why I've actually, you know, I've been considering this over the last month or so, but since I started the website, the thing I'm finding, especially here local, is a lot of people don't want to walk in a vape shop, but they still want that one-on-one attention of somebody talking to them, trying to help them figure it out. So what I'm going to start doing on the website, this is going to be free for anybody that wants to do it. I'm going to start consultations of where you can give me your information, when would be a great time to speak with you, and then once I do the consultation, I will send you a no push, unlike a car salesman or someone in an actual vape shop, a no push invoice of what I think would be best for you, like a vape consultant of what I could do it for. I mean, what do you guys think of that? Do you think that would be a good way to segue between with online? Because I know no one does that with online.
I just was going to just follow up on a thing that Tristan, because he really makes a good point. I mean, if they could maybe Kassav, VTA, Sapato, these other characters, if we could put out like some kind of campaign of some sort, a message to get to not only for the good of the vaping industry, but also to make us look good in the eyes of the FDA, CTP, and that is to keep the focus more on those that are transitioning from tobacco, combustible cigarettes, to vaping. If the message would squarely be like what you were saying, that have more tobacco e-liquid in retail shops. You know what I mean? So we look like we're at least, smoking cessation, rather than all this candy and desserts and all this other crap we have that image of. If they could change that dialogue and have it so it's strictly mainly tobacco focused on the combusted cigarette user, that would really help.
I agree with you. So, here's the thing that we also have to keep in mind. We want to make sure that it's still also about people that have converted as well.
Yes. Oh yeah, of course, but I mean,
it's a fine line.
Point, though.
It's a fine line, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Because
you always have to carry
in CTP's mind, we're just a bunch of candy, candies and gummy bears and all this other crap. So we could at least change part of our image that it's for those that are combusted cigarette smokers and transitioning over to that tobacco or peach tobacco. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? I don't know if you get what I mean, but
I get what you're saying. There's not enough of that. There's very little of that as opposed to a ridiculous amount of other things. And I do agree.
Yeah.
But
we may have an easier time a little bit, at least with the dialogue with the FDA CTP.
This is true. However, the one thing that I think we really need to be driving towards consumers is that joining CASA is the most paramount thing right now, because they're supposed to be our NRA. And 200,000.
Well, I had this comment thing with the Oracle, and it was a really good chat thing and text that him and I were going back on. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but I have a lot of problems with CASA. You don't know that by now. And like CASA's like they're like I mean they serve a purpose, but they haven't come through on it good enough as far as I'm concerned. And with that, like HR 2058, they were 110% backing that. And who wrote that was Big Tobacco. It was Altria, it was Lorillard, Cigar Association. They actually drafted that legislation, gave it to Tom Cole. They drafted it on April 15th, 2015, and gave it. And then on April 23rd of 2015, Tom Cole introduces that to the committee. So that was written by Big Tobacco. And I just have, I realized CASA's into smokeless tobacco. They got into that, especially with the Carl Phillips and all that other crap. But the point is they have been in bed with Big Tobacco, and I have a serious problem with that. And that's why until they can admit to their failures and admit to their connections, I will never support CASA. No offense to you, Tristan. I've been talking about this for like 6 months on the FDA Funded World Channel and the Make It Right series. So
right. I get that. But I pose you this following question: do we have a vape lobbyist? Is there such a thing?
No, we don't. Not for the consumer.
Right. So we would be working in the same camp as Big Tobacco regardless, because we need to use their lobbyists and their connections.
True.
Yeah, but in the long run, if you read their internal documents, they are really in the process of eliminating us from the picture. They have a lot to do with it.
Jacob, this is where you and I disagree a lot, because I think it's Empire State. I mentioned this last week when you were on. Empire State did a YouTube video about Canada, and they actually went over to Europe, and the British American Tobacco, what they actually talk about is they understand and they know vaping is, they flat out said they know vaping's safer. They know this, and they are actually wanting to move into our space.
Oh, sure. No, they want
and that is part of the reason why they are supporting the vape language, simply because they know it is the future. If they didn't know it was the future, you wouldn't see the blue cigs. You wouldn't see the Mark 10s. You know, you wouldn't see a lot of these other vape devices coming from them. And with them doing that, I mean, it just flat out shows you that they want to be involved. And I'll be flat out honest, I'll take their money any day of the week.
Yeah, but when they think of vapor, they think in terms of heat-not-burn technology. They're not thinking about the open systems that we have. They've been working on heat-not-burn since the 1980s. They've been looking for the safer cigarette alternative since the 1950s. They've been around for a very long time doing this kind of stuff. When they think of vapor, they're not really thinking, maybe some blue cigs or something, but they don't care so much about that. If you really read their internal memos, they're so focused on these heat-not-burn technology. It's just, what I'm saying with Casal, if they could just maybe put a message up that saying that we do not cater no longer to the big tobacco, or admit their faults, that, well, we made a mistake for supporting the HR 2058 because that's big tobacco. And I'll tell you something, back in the early part of 2016, actually, I learned this, believe it or not, from the Vapor Legion Network, actually through Utrecht. And that at that time, believe it or not, I was actually saying on my old Jacob Clare channel that we should support big tobacco because they're indirectly helping us out. But after I started doing some serious research on them, their game plan is to get us out of the market, especially the open systems. They don't want to have that competition. So then when you ask yourself, well, why would they put the predicate data in there? That's a sucker bet, because they know if they left all those products from February 15, 2007 to August 8, 2016, they would have to compete with tube Mac mods, fully mechanical box mods, open systems. And they don't want to do that.
Well, here's the caveat to that. There's a couple caveats to all this. First of all, in order for them to effectively eliminate those devices, they would have to eliminate the juices that people use in those devices. Because if the actual end product is gone, there's no way that those businesses and shops will stay in business. So to do that, what they end up doing is they're doing what they're doing now. They realize that in itself was a failed strategy, because they know that there's no way that they would ever stop the Chinese market from bringing in those devices here. It's just not going to happen. It's unrealistic. And I mean, think about it. In this industry alone, it's like the only place I've ever seen where, and I'm not having the clone debate with you guys, I'm just making the point where you can bring in a counterfeit device and it just comes right on in. And like, if you were going to bring in like fake Nikes, you would get your ass kicked in by the organizations that oversee that. The case in point that I'm making is they know, because everything is so small, so numerous, so cheap, and so easy to make, that even if they bust shipment A and B, there's C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, X, Y, Z. So they know that can't work. So what they're doing now, their current attack, is to eliminate flavored juices. And the way they're doing that is doing it the same way that they killed flavored tobacco back in the day, and it's for the kids.
Yeah, well, always that.
So big tobacco at the time was facing that alone. Now they're facing it with us. They don't have a choice. They're stuck in it with us, because if we lose, they lose. Because there'd be no reason for anybody to pick up any of those devices that they patented and are ready to roll out with if that comes to pass. So I don't necessarily think that they are the enemy at the moment. I know that they will be the enemy in the future when they try to capitalize the market. So it's a very touchy, very gray area, but we need their money. We need their lobbyists. And until someone comes out and goes, fuck big tobacco, I am a vape lobbyist, I'm using my tobacco connections and I want nothing to do with them, and proves it, we're stuck where we are right now.
So what you're saying basically is we could take what we can from big tobacco, but it's going to be a temporary situation, and then they're going to snuff us out.
Well, they're going to attempt to fail miserably, because sooner or later we're going to outnumber them, and they know it. So to kill the vapor industry, in a sense, well, would kind of be like killing themselves, because they've already heavily invested in the industry.
Isn't there like a big vape company that actually provides the liquid for a lot of those cigalikes? I forget which one it is. Yeah,
there is. And I know another major company was bought out, which is going to be working their hardware and distribution, which we all know is, was it Vapor Beast?
Yes.
Yeah. So, they're already laying the foundation. So they're not trying to kill themselves. It doesn't make any sense.
And I'll tell you right now, Vapor Beast.
Yeah, but
I buy from them for some. Or well, let me rephrase that. I used to buy from them. I just got with LA Vapor Wholesale, who is much cheaper than Vapor Beast as a distributor, because, with me, the way I do my website is I have to buy stuff, get it in within 2 to 3 days, and then mail it out to somebody. So I have to pay shipping for everything twice until I can start stocking some stuff. Because I don't have $1 million. I can't go out there. If I had $1 million, I would open my own vape shop. But I don't have the money to open my own vape shop. That's why I did an online shop. And I can do it as I go.
If we all had $1 million, we'd all be opening up vape shops. At least temporarily. But, as far as, you ever hear this term, Tristan, called the Hegelian dialectic?
No.
It's an old term, goes back a long ways to a philosopher back in the 1880s. And he came with this idea that you create a problem, then you resolve the problem, and then you benefit from the problem.
Right.
The person that creates the problem, and there's another entity that resolves the problem. Both of those are playing the same game together, even though it appears that you have a synthesis and an antithesis. In other words, you have a problem, and or whatever problem it may be, it makes it appear that you have an enemy, and then you have someone that's fighting for you, but meanwhile they're playing both sides of the fence at the same time.
Oh, of course, that's exactly what's happening.
Okay, that's what goes on with CIA, FBI. All these
the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Okay, right. So if you take that philosophy that was created, it was really a mathematical equation, but they broke it down into literature. But the thing is you can apply that to big tobacco. And look what they did with the Tobacco Control Act. Now I know you know this because you guys talked about it. Philip Morris USA and Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids wrote the Tobacco Control Act. And it says in the internal memos, and I showed it on the FDA on the World channel as well as the Make a Right Series channel. I actually do a Zoom so you can see the documents. And it shows that Big Tobacco in 1995 wanted to be proactive because they knew eventually these regulations were going to come down, and they wanted to be ahead of the game and be in charge of what's going on when it comes to the FDA. So eventually they got together with the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids after the Master Settlement Agreement in 1998. They started working on a strategy to create this Tobacco Control Act. They needed the image of Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids to make it look like they're not the bad guys. And the concession that Big Tobacco gave to Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids was, we will pretty much, won't have flavored cigarettes, won't give combustible cigarettes for those that are under 18 years of age, things of that nature. And the concession the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids gave to Big Tobacco was, we'll never ban your product. So that is the tobacco, and the menthol can be dependent upon whatever the secretary dictates. So then eventually they worked that out with the FDA, and voila, you have the Tobacco Control Act. Now, I understand what you're saying, Twist. You make a good point. You're an intelligent guy. That's why I always watch your show every week. I like actually when you're on the show, I watch it. The other guys, when they do their little thing during the week, I don't watch it. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty much mine
mind,
and his. You watch are the two main.
Yeah, I mainly when Tristan's on. Anyway, so I understand what you're saying temporarily, but I'm sure Big Tobacco sees, when they wrote those internal memos in 1995, they forecasted out about 15 years, 10 to 15 years into the future. That's how they forecasted it out. It actually says in these memos. I show all the memos on the Zoom thing. So I'm sure they're strategizing right now with vapor products, and they're thinking in terms of when they started this whole thing with the predicate date and all this other crap. In 2015, they projected out probably to the year 2025, 2030. And I'll bet you that in the long run, even though let's say if we support Big Tobacco, or at least somewhat, half-heartedly support them to try to help us out, I can understand that argument. The thing is, in the long run, they are going to snuff us out. I'm telling you.
I don't
no matter
think
how
they
many
will.
numbers we get.
No.
Well,
that's their plan. Their
only
plan
time
won't
will-
work because, as you can see, they've been taking it since. It's not going to be that simple. They're going to be fighting an uphill battle.
yeah, but they got the heat not burn technology. That's going to get approved by the FDA, don't you think?
No,
You don't
I
think
don't.
so?
Mm-mm.
I do.
I don't.
It's going to get approved. That's the game plan. I mean, big government, big tobacco, big pharma have been working together for decades. I mean, I don't want to, cast a negative spell, so to speak, but I think we really need to see what it
Because
is.
once a couple of things go into place, and somehow, some way, somebody finds a way to put vaping in a protected class that doesn't stand a chance of it being labeled as a pharma product, their entire game goes to the winds. It's over. They got nothing. So they can pull whatever nonsense they want, but the stigma of the things that they have done will still be attached to whatever product they come out with. So PR-wise, they're going to lose. Legally-wise, once vaping's out of the tobacco category, which I predict will happen
That's what we need.
sooner than we think,
We need to do.
they got nothing.
If we do that, then that will be the end of their game. If we can get separated from Tobacco Control Act, in fact, that should be the only focus that we should have for the next year and a half, is to separate us from that tobacco. Once we do that, then we will remain in the market forever.
Now, I will
Until
tell you
that
this.
happens, we're screwed.
Jacob, I'm going to tell you this. I'm looking at, right now, off of Center for Disease Control and Prevention, okay? Since 2009, and this is just considering tobacco, because they, as of 2014, they didn't have, 2013, they didn't have vapor products considered a tobacco product, okay? Among kids in high school, 19.5%. Adults, 20.6%, okay? As of 2013, it had already dropped to 15.7% of students and 17.8% of adults. So that right there already shows you what happened with the Tobacco Control Act. They noticed from 2009 all the way down to only like 4 years later, they were like, oh my fucking goodness, we've lost almost 4% of our consumer base from teens.
Sure.
We've lost almost 3% from adults. If
And that's
this
probably
trend,
tens of millions.
if this trend continues, we are going to lose a fuck ton more.
No.
So what do? They notice, oh look, since 2009, there was a little trend here. People started vaping. That was their avenue to get away from the combusted tobacco. So therefore, we are going to go into something that we think could help save our fucking industry. Excuse my language, I'm just using their mind. They're getting the mind frame of, I'm going to do what will save my industry. So that's why they got into vapor products. They didn't get into it.
Well, they weren't vapor products since the 1980s, actually. They tried it anyway, and it failed miserably. They tried it with Premier. They tried it with what's called Eclipse. This has come out of Philip Morris R.J. Reynolds in the 1980s, but those products failed because it didn't mimic the combusted cigarette.
Right.
The filters are bad, tasted bad, and that was that.
Because they didn't have the liquid creators that we have as an industry. That's the whole difference. Our industry came in and you had chefs. I mean, I can tell you right now, one company, I think it's
goes to Tristan's argument that he was making, that they would like to have a flavor ban to eliminate that. Once they get that out of the picture, it's easy sailing for them because it won't have anybody enticed.
Oh, yeah, vaping. I don't disagree with that. I never have once said I disagree with that fact. But the thing is, they realize, and you see that by them buying out Vapor Beast. Yes, Vapor Beast is one of the highest priced. And I'll tell you right now, the reason they are is because they're owned by Big Tobacco. Big Tobacco is trying to make back some of the money, so they're charging higher cost. I'll tell you right now, 90% of the products on Vapor Beast are at least $5 off the online price. That is all they are as a wholesale price. I'll tell you that right now. There's very few products I can personally buy from Vapor Beast and still make a profit at the online price. Which is sad.
No.
I mean, $5 to $10 is most of the stuff. And I have to have at least I'll tell you right now, everything on my website, I have to have at least a $20 window.
Oh, sure, you gotta make a profit.
Because I pay $10 just to get it to my door. So if somebody buys one product, I gotta pay $10 to get it in 2 days. Then on top of that, I gotta mail it out. I charge shipping even for my local customers because I have to cover that cost.
Sure.
With Vapor Beast. With this new company, I'm telling you right now, this new company, I'm going to be able, my local customers, not to charge shipping. My other customers, I'm probably going to be able to drop the price on a lot of my stuff. And I am going to start carrying some of the newer products just simply because I want to make a little money off of some of these newer products. I decided this week, looking at some of the prices on some of these newer products, that I can actually make a profit on some of them. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, you could do that until you get, like we said before, until you get FDA warning letter, then, you just have to remove the stuff.
But I'm telling you right now, probably after August 8th, if I don't see any movement, Minuteman Vapors is going to start slowing down drastically. I'm going to start pulling stuff off and liquidating a lot of my personal things off my website. If I start building up enough capital that I can buy, I'm going to be going ahead and probably liquidating a lot to almost cost when it comes August 8th. Because I'm going to be like, I am not getting stuck with this product for 3 months and then have no ability to sell it.
No. Yeah, there's definitely a cause and effect situation there. And you're not the only one on it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to do what's best for the business.
Yeah, you're
honestly,
a businessman.
I'll tell you right now, the only people I really think need to slow down, and I know you'll agree with me on this, is the manufacturers. They're the ones that need to slow down until we get something done.
Yeah, but
they won't.
Manufacturers over in China are never going to slow down because and they're going to continue to innovate because they have other markets. They also have other markets outside of the USA. I'm sure they work that into their whatever business strategy they may have for the next 5 years. Well, if we lose a good portion of the Americas, we have, I don't know, we have a South Africa or some whatever market may be.
Not even 4 days ago, I talked to an individual from Kanger as well as an individual from I forget the other company, but they were also another big one. They told me their profits, 75% of their business is
USA,
in America.
Sure.
They gear 90% of their products toward Americans. And yes, I said 2018. I meant to say 18, not 17. If I said 17, I'm sorry, but
yeah, we're definitely the bulk of their profits. But when November 8th of 2018 or August 8th, 2018, official date comes around and nothing goes on. I mean, I think something's going to go on up there. It's got. I mean, what industry literally goes out of business overnight? I mean, I never saw such a thing in America. So something's going to probably come in favor.
Liquor.
But something will.
Liquor.
But yeah, the bulk of their monies come from us, but they'll wind up going to other countries. But yeah, and something's going to happen. I mean, probably not something that we will completely agree as hardcore vapors. Like, they may very well have a flavor ban and these battery standards and all this other crap, but it'll be not the way we know it or like it to be, but it's going to be probably still around somehow or another, and in a limited fashion.
I mean,
I don't. Tristan? You're awfully quiet.
I think it'll just completely disappear, because here's the thing. This is why Tristan, we can't hear a word you're saying for some.
I'm muted.
You were probably cussing me out during all my rant.
No, here's the thing. The whole thing I see happening is that it goes into the black market. And it's going to be a disaster, because anything that would have educated any new vapor or older vapor or whatever is now gone. You've removed the entire structure as a whole from the community and put everything online, and we can all attest to the fact that the online world is not the safest place to obtain battery knowledge from.
Hey, Tristan, you know what we need to get drawn? Do you have a good drawer?
Yeah, I do.
We need to get, and I know I'm going to get some kickback from this, but you know what? This is an idea for you. And you can pass it around, because I know you will pass it around, because when I tell you this idea, you're going to love it. November 8th, 2018, this will be your e-liquid industry. And put Dr. Crimmy at a bathtub or a toilet, stirring up the bathtub.
Oh my God. I was thinking it, as you were saying it, I'm in. No, but for real though, like, that's what people don't understand. Like, we've gotten to the point where we care about where their juice is made, and it's going to go right in the shitter. It's going to be the Wild West. Like, they thought it was bad before. Wait.
You're like the speakeasies of the 1920s.
Exactly.
But you have to admit, Tristan, that's an amazing idea.
I agree. It is an amazing idea.
And imagine the feedback you will get from that meme. Everybody will be pushing it.
The Crimmy's Award 2.0 will start all over again. I was just saying, I'm just pushing their shit in.
But isn't this funny, Tristan? Here's the funny side.
It's all in good fun at the expense of someone who fucked up and tried to act like it didn't happen and tried to blame it on me again. Oh, it's great. I love it.
But see, Tristan, this is where the funny side of this is. Who was one of the ones taking up for Crimmy's during that time period?
We swore we would never speak of that again.
And and that guy,
and yet
Tony Hawk,
I mention it because I watched that video that was put out in January. Because
when Tony Hart reversed course there, he was probably pressured by Dr. Crimmy, and Dr. Crimmy probably said, "Look, we'll drop the lawsuit if you say what you say," and that's what he did. But there's no way you could doctor up that carpet and flies. I mean, there's no, what I'm saying? There's no way you can do that. It's impossible. You're gonna train a fly to, and
how about the mildew on the wall?
The mildew on the wall, and not only that, the wall. You can see right through the wall. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. I mean,
it's just
no way.
That was the dumbest thing they ever did. That took any credibility or shred that they had of coming back to normal and just put it right. Right in the toilet.
Right in the shitter.
It was funny. Dan Cloud, he was just like he was saying that I would be the Al Capone of vaping, and I'm like, no, Michael Corleone. Because trust me, I will not mind going on the black market until I get in trouble for it.
Because the majority of vapors will.
And the reason I will not mind it is the simple fact I know for a fact the health benefits that it has provided me. And I refuse to deny someone else those health benefits.
And in the future, actually, after November 8th, 2018, let's say yourself or anyone, that will actually be actual damages. You can actually sue in a court of law as an individual, like what Larry Fairclough is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that could wind up having lawsuits come out after November 8th, 2018, because you can show actual damages because you have a choice. Combusted cigarettes are going to kill me, or vapor products which don't kill you. You're going to wind up with a lot of lawsuits anyway after that, probably, that date.
Oh, yeah, eventually. I could see a huge...
From individuals, that is.
I could actually see a huge combined lawsuit just like...
Yeah, it could be a class action.
I could see a huge class action. Can you imagine the money we could get for a huge class action?
Yeah, and at least even reverse the rulings, reverse the FDA final rule. I mean, they could nullify that. I mean, there's still possibilities, but I mean, by that time, of course,
the industry will be dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if nothing goes in our favor,
but who knows?
That's
it could be a revival.
You're coming with me. You know what I mean? Kind of lawsuit. I'm taking you down with me.
Yeah.
Of course, though, it could be a revival of the industry too, because if we won in a battle like that,
but that would be a time, 2020. By the time that is ruled, probably that class action it will be long gone by then.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Unfortunately.
But I mean, like you said, Jacob, you still have the overseas markets. They're going to continue. Yes, they're going to focus more. Because if you notice, a lot of our companies are focusing more on TPD compliancy now. And with a lot of these companies now focused on TPD, what does that tell you? That tells you they are looking more toward the future of their industry.
Yeah,
rather
and the TPD is
industry.
Really good. You know why? Because, it's not perfect, but the good thing about the TPD is that you don't have a PMTA involved.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about that legislation.
Now, here's another idea. I mean, this is a good idea that could happen. A lot of these vape companies that are making product, selling well overseas, which honestly, a lot of ours are not really selling overseas, which is sad. But a lot of ours that do sell overseas, which, I know like Steve's and all the ones he distributes, we sell overseas as well. There's always that chance those companies could sell off their recipes to an overseas distributor and manufacturer, and still, the person that actually lost the business could still make out a little bit and maybe make some of their profits back, although their American industry is dead. I mean, don't you think that could happen, Tristan?
I mean, they could sell.
It's a possibility. I mean, it's an unfeasible thing because all they got to do is say, if you're going to produce, e-liquid or kickbacks from a tobacco company, things like that, they can just shut that down.
Well, what I'm getting at is just sell off the whole company. There's people that sell off their recipes, sell off their sell off their companies 365 days a year. They do this all the time.
Do that.
So there's always that chance.
Yeah, like maybe a European company could buy an American vaping company or whatever, and then change it to however they like. But that's just would be an outright buyout, and that's it. I mean, the American company would make some money right there and then, and that'd be the end.
But I am going to be totally honest with you. I am still hesitant on saying that Judge Jackson's decision was totally unbiased. I really am hesitant to say that. And here's why, Jacob. Here's why. yes, she makes a lot of claims, but who appointed her?
Obama, but she ruled against Obama with the Fast and Furious documentation. So
that's one case. How many did she rule against?
Well, she really didn't have a choice on that one. You'd be committing political suicide if you didn't.
Yeah.
You would be able to tell. Now, this one, though, here's the thing. The Tobacco Control Act, especially right now with Trump being in office, and today, especially, us having a vote to start debating repeal and replace Obamacare. That was his #1 legacy, was Obamacare. Now, if Obamacare gets overturned, what's his next legacy? Tobacco Control Act.
Well, like it says in the court ruling, the vaping industry, like she says in the court ruling, the vaping industry can work hand in hand with the FDA. They actually have that written into their rules in the FDA that instead of just you don't necessarily have to petition the FDA like Casella's doing right now, but you just have to try to sit down with them, and they're not that they will act upon what you say, but you can try to work things out. It actually says it in the ruling, so it empowers the vaping industry, even these organizations, through that court ruling to actually sit down with the FDA and try to work things out. Not that they will, but you do have that as an avenue.
And I will tell you right now, I'm going to tell you right now, I look for the CBO to do the exact same thing with the flavor ban that's in the agriculture bill. I look for them to flat out say, you know what? This needs to go. We already shot this down when it came to...
Well, I don't know about that.
I look for him to say that simply because, here's the reason, Jacob. This is...
But it doesn't matter. The FDA still has the power to do that.
No, what I'm getting at is in the actual legislation for the agriculture bill. I'm not even talking about the final rule. I'm talking about the actual agriculture bill. In the agriculture bill, that still has to go in front of the CBO. The CBO can flat out say, look, this is not going to fly. We already shot this down with the FDA. We told them to take it out. You need to think of some new wording.
Yeah, but this is Congress. It's different with Congress.
They've done it before.
CBO.
CBO has done that before.
The CBO's recommendations with Congress. They don't have to. They give them basically.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. And you can watch a lot of what people say. CBO says something, people listen.
Yeah, I'm not saying they
Our
won't
congressmen
act on it, but they don't
listen to what the CBO says. And if the CBO says to do something, do you really think they're going to say, you know what? Fuck the CBO, we're just going straight into this. We're going to do this. I don't care what you say, CBO. We are doing this. Do you really think, I mean, honestly, what I can see it coming down to is a 51 in the Senate and a majority in the House.
Well, the characterizing flavor, this is like what I had a little chat thing with the Oracle, is that is coming directly out of the Tobacco Control Act, which basically means it's a flavor ban. And now, if Congress really meant business, they wouldn't name it as characterizing flavors. They would have put it differently, but they didn't. Congress can change all that language. They haven't done any of that.
Right, because
they're afraid to.
Like I had said,
they don't want to be pro tobacco. That's why.
Like I had said during my video that I did on Friday night. The main reason they didn't do anything was because they had, at least I can't remember if I said this, but I know I had it in my Star Wars crawl, which Tristan saw that and he laughed at it when I showed it to him.
That was good.
But in that Star Wars crawl, it flat out says they didn't pass it simply because they knew he would veto it. Flat out, we knew Obama would veto that.
Oh, sure.
Because it was big tobacco supporting.
Never got past Pelosi. But the thing is and I was going to say this before, what you were talking about, you know, as far as being more neutral, you know, Scott Gottlieb is a bit more neutral, so he may be able to. I mean, Mitch Zeller's not going to go for this, but Scott Gottlieb would maybe meet with the vaping industry and listen to them a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? According to that court ruling, and the FDA certainly has the power to consult with the Congress people to change some of that language in that legislation. Not that they will, but I mean. You know, Scott Gottlieb, of course, he has big pharma ties. In fact, they all do. Tom Price, Mitch Zeller, Scott Gottlieb. They all, you know, and that also plays a part into it. You know, there's a lot of special interest things going on here. You know, you got to understand that there's a lot of stuff behind closed doors that, you know what I mean? That big pharma actually, in fact, if you put big tobacco and big pharma, you put like big pharma versus big tobacco, big pharma will come out on top. I mean, FDA would prefer to have big pharma on the show than big tobacco.
Of course, because it's something easily marketed and sold by, you know, doctors.
Yeah, exactly.
So their liability is none because the doctors take the brunt of all of it, which is kind of amazing if you think about it, because the FDA's job, last time I checked, is supposed to be able to protect the United States from harmful products, which is the whole guise of what they do, but yet here they are approving cigarettes for market. So it's kind of a hypocritical thing of what they do.
Absolutely.
You know, it just goes to further show to anybody that pays attention to what they do, and I'm not saying present company, I'm saying in general, that they are not on the side. And everybody go, yeah, holy shit, then do something about it. Don't sit there idly while they continue to just pump poison out and have doctors sell it to us. You know?
Now, here's
convenience stores.
Here's another thing to really take into account. Here's another thing to really take into account. We are just over, technically, if you go by the actual inauguration day, we are just over 6 months into Trump. First off. Secondly, we are just over, almost coming up on 3 months of Scott Gottlieb even being in the FDA. When does any bureaucratic idiot get anything done in 2 months?
Well, he's done a lot for Big Pharma already, because I get emails every day, and he has approved drugs left and right. With Big Pharma. It's incredible.
Right, but the thing is, it's not him approving it. That's the whole thing.
Well, he gives the green light on all these lab tests, and he's cutting back the time as far as making it more streamlined, easier to get approved, and things of that nature. In fact, that's
but see,
the whole
a
point
lot of that, what you have to remember, a lot of that, if you watched the very first State of the Union, the reason he did that was because that was one of Trump's pushes for the FDA. That was one of his main pushes that he literally mentions in his original State of the Union in February. But 2 months, I mean, look at how long it took for the FDA to write the FDA final rule on e-cigs.
Well,
look how long it's taken.
Rulemaking.
Well, listen, it's like I told everybody in the Legion, it's like I tell everybody I meet, don't stack your eggs on Trump doing anything or Gottlieb doing anything. Because you know what? Ultimately, what they're worried about is also creating, you know, a doorway for big tobacco to utilize them.
Oh,
so if they save us, they'll be saving them too, and that's not something they want to do. So it's kind of like we're on a sinking ship that we were put on that we should never have bought tickets for.
Right, I'm just saying.
Or the FDA served them to us like a court summons and said, "Here's your tickets," and ran, and we got on the boat for some reason, and we're here.
I'm just saying, you know, we can't
kick us onto the ship.
I'm just being the political side of this. When I am speaking about it, simply because we can't look at something, because let's look at past history. H.R. 2058 was introduced the February of that new Congress. It took over a year for 2058 to even be voted on in committee. So it took over a year for that to happen. Then we turned our attention away from 2058 because it was pretty much, it wasn't dead in the water yet, but it was pretty much dead because we knew January comes, a brand new Congress comes in, everything has to be rewritten. Yes, technically it was not dead until the day of the new Congress being introduced, but they knew they couldn't pass it, so they tried to throw it in on the omnibus bill.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't fly. Then February, and then during this whole time, 2194 was in their back pocket. But they didn't want to put it up again because it was written, ready that summer. They only had 6 months to really push it.
Yep.
Then they stay on the failed policy of HR 2058 / Cole Bishop Amendment ideas. And they put it out right at the beginning of the new Congress, around the same time that 2058 came out.
Right.
You know what would really be a good sign as far
And
as
then
Scott
2194 comes out.
What would really be a good sign for Scott Gottlieb that we'll know that he's in our corner is when he literally removes Mitch Zeller. When that happens, then and only then you'll know Scott Gottlieb's in our corner.
This is true.
As long as that Mitch Zeller's in that position, and he can persuade Scott Gottlieb to just say, I'll take care of business. Well, you know where we stand at with Mitch Zeller.
But we also do have to remember, even though he removed himself completely from his holdings in the e-cigarette industry,
sure,
there's a high possibility. You got to remember that's in his mind. He actually has an open mind. That's the difference between, and we've got a new Surgeon General. We don't know how this new Surgeon General is going to react to vaping. He really hasn't put anything out about it. The old Surgeon General comes out on one of the biggest YouTube channels, sits down with them, and they make a total mockery of vaping. Yes, they were focused mainly on youth vaping, but they made it seem like it was that way for everybody. You have to look at the avenues that these people take. And, in all honesty, Trump is an Obama-type Republican. He's using social media to get his word out. What we need to do is we need to start tweeting and add at Real Donald Trump or at POTUS every single time that we put something out. We need to use the same methods he uses.
I don't think Trump's going to.
No,
actually,
but that's the way to
doing
communicate with
immigration
him.
Somebody said in the chat, I think Steve has another point, a very good point. If a bunch of vice lords pop up like in Prohibition, I bet they will repeal the Tobacco Control Act. Possible, yes, but that would be, it's hard to see vapors taking things as seriously as the alcohol industry did. Case in point, I mean, you could just go back to smoking, as shitty as the thing is to say. It's true. And most people will fall back to that and just say, fuck it. Because you got to remember, the juice companies are gone. The hardware companies are just going to close the fuck up. They're done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they've lost their largest market. I mean, the last time I checked with the TBD, you can't use mech mods, can you?
I don't think, no.
No. So, that being said, you're looking at the people that would have got involved in said black market just
it shrinks it.
because once the hardware goes, there's no reason for the black market to really exist. You're talking black market maybe 8 months, and then goods sells become a commodity.
Yeah.
Because once it goes into place and shit really hits the fan, you're gonna see the cells that they use for vaping disappear, because that'll be the next thing that they go after, because they see it as a threat. There's like, oh, this is how they're getting around us. They got their juice and they still got their hardware. So what's the next thing they do? They go after batteries. And you have a problem. Or even worse, they go after wire.
Mm-hmm.
Which the batteries would be the right way to go, because there's only so many battery manufacturers out there. It's going to get bad before it gets worse.
Yeah, but then you're also going to see, this is where it's going to be really bad. You're going to start seeing people go out there and use old batteries from
Oh, yeah.
cordless
And-
devices
Oh, they don't care.
and
They're
just pull them
counting
out.
on it. They're counting on it. You
Yeah.
know why? Because that's
Oh.
going to fit their narrative. It's going to drive their point further home. That's the thing. Everybody thinks, man, when shit gets real bad, they're going to not regret doing that. No, they're going to love that they did.
Yeah.
Because stuff's going to start blowing up in people's faces.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And then
Yeah,
as that
hospitals
starts
like
taking, and then when that starts taking its toll, then we're really fucked because they're going to go, see, look what we protected you from, you dumb
Yeah.
bastards, you.
Yeah.
Look what we did. And everybody's going to go, thanks, FDA. Now, could you get those blowing up batteries to go away? And then it begins.
Of course, though, I have to use this quote because Ronald Reagan said
Yeah.
it best. Government is not the solution to the problem.
Nope.
Government is the problem.
Correct. I think the biggest mistake as a society that we made was making a organization in the United States government that is immune.
Yeah.
Because there's no accountability. Because if the FDA could be sued for all the deaths that they're causing by approving these products, they would be very cautious on what they banned and what they approved. Because that would open up the door, since they handle, tobacco, apparently.
they can be sued, but it's very difficult to get past that Chevron doctrine.
Right, that's what I mean.
That's the
I'm talking
problem.
about for like egregiously huge money.
Like
I'm not talking
like Shantex.
victories. I'm talking like cash money. I'm talking like losing by millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
To limit their funds.
Right. Which actually, if you really want to think about it, if it goes south and you want to limit the FDA's effectiveness, we would have to defund their organizations on state levels, because then they'd have to schlep themselves out from whatever federal institution they're at and come down and handle shit, which then is a states' rights trumping federal, and they're coming on from a federal level to fuck on something on a state level. Can't do that.
Exactly. Like they do with the Obamacare thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Obamacare with the markets.
Look at legalized marijuana. Look at what's going on with that right now. It's still federally illegal, but good luck getting into the state to go after it. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's difficult.
There ain't no money there for you. You think cops want to go back to enforcing that now that they've had a taste of the good life and they don't have to worry about busting every stoner they find? No, they don't want that. So do you think that the local municipalities want to start going after people just vaping and going through life, minding their business, choosing not to smoke? Hell, cops vape. I mean, let's be real here.
Yeah.
They're going to have a bitch of a time finding somebody who'll go, I'll fuck on those people for you for free. That's not going to happen. No one's going to line up front line and center to go take someone else's property, and the cops aren't going to want to have to deal with it. So the enforcement of these regulations, they can handle on a business level, on a face-to-face personal level. You aren't going to see that any more than you see jaywalking getting enforced in 2017. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, individuals won't get busted. The consumers won't. On the black market, it'd be. I mean, unless you get 5,000 vapor products in the mail, and you pique the interest of the custom border protection, maybe then. But if you get one or two products once a month, or however the hell you figure out how to do that stuff,
and this is the other thing that I've seen lately that really pisses me off, is that everybody's like, fuck it, I'll just live on the black market. Well, with what hardware? Your batteries are going to go. I hate to inform you, your batteries are not immortal. You may have had the same battery for 3 years, but it ain't going to stay that way. And the other thing is that are you going to be the bastion saint of e-juice? Are you going to continuously mix for all your friends and just buy all this shit and spend hours and hours of mixing and making sure they're not smoking? No, you're not. Anybody who says they are is a liar. You're not. You're going to get tired of it within a year to 6 months, because they're going to constantly be going, yo, man, you got any more of that? And you're going to fold. It's not going to happen. It's not realistic.
I'll tell you this much.
It's the truth.
Yeah, because you only have time to make it for yourself.
Right, exactly.
Someone
give somebody gets sick, you're a dead man.
Someone give me $100 for this bottle right here, I'd make it for them.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what's going to happen too. Like you think
you're a manufacturer.
Easy, telling people, just DIY. It ain't going to be like that. It's not.
No,
it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be a happy, fun, pretty time. It's not. Because then what's going to, what might end up happening too? Here's another piece of information. What if they start deciding to regulate the flavor manufacturers themselves?
Yeah.
And they could do that.
And they very well could. You're right, because by that effect, they are now a tobacco manufacturer because it's
That's
an
right.
unintended use, because they're making it and knowing that they're selling to somebody that may or may not, because they're buying from a consumer. You know, selling.
Yeah, because the FDA looks at flavors as components.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this could go super south, and that's not even a stretch of a conspiracy theory. That is factually something that can happen.
Or we all might be just stuck with flavor art, which, to be totally honest with you, my liquids, one thing from flavor art, that's it. The rest of mine are all Flavor West, Capella, which is an American company, Flavor West is an American company, and the Vapor Apprentice is an American company. And yes, I'm flipping off. I don't care. It was my third finger.
Judging you. We've done worse here.
Yeah, they get away. The FDA gets around that thing by the intended use, though. So, you know, but yeah, like Tristan's saying, you know, they're going to go after the juice, then they're going to go after the mods, then they're going to go after the batteries.
Yep.
You know,
and see, I can see that when people start fighting even harder.
Well, but by then it's too late.
Then it'll be over.
Yeah.
We don't have time on our side. Just look at your clock.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Weiser, it will go downhill fast. I assure you.
Yeah.
You know, it will go down.
Yeah,
so
2018 is going
fast.
to be.
And that clock will
2018
keep
is
going
gonna be-
until something happens to fix it.
Yep, and it's not going to stop. I mean, they're not going to stop there. They're going to just keep on trucking. They're going to make sure that they have the industry in a coffin, and it's nailed by like 80 nails, bro. You ain't getting out, zombie or not. You ain't leaving.
Kay Weiser,
you're not
KY
coming out.
Weiser actually said something that this is going to be funny if this would actually happen. Mech mods would be labeled as flashlights with a 510 connection, but here's how I can see them doing it. Have the top of the flashlight screw off with the 510 at the bottom, just like this RDA. The top of the flashlight screws right off, and you can put the top right back on, and right there is your mech mod.
But here's the thing: it's going to yet again fall back into intended use.
Yeah.
So that product, even though you are intending its use to be a flashlight, the FDA will go, "No, you're not. You intended to use that as a vapor product. Fuck you," and that goes. Because just remember, it's all about
intended
who
use. Yeah.
determines intended use, and it's not the companies; it is the FDA.
Yeah.
So there will be no way around this. It's like, you know, you don't want to spread doom and gloom, but it's true. And you know, that's why I do it, because it's time for people to
we need to wake up.
Yeah,
we need to wake up.
We're at the midnight hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We are at the midnight hour. The time of nitpicking, you know, advocacy organizations to death is over.
Yeah.
You know, people showing up in the twilight hour asking for money, over. We don't have enough of it as it is, because people are just leaving. There are shops closing. Like, we're done. Why? Because that brings up the second point. So suppose even after all this is said and done, with all the lawsuits for damages and everything, they managed to make a rebound. Vaping is back into action. It's all good. Who's going to take the risk and open another business, knowing full well that they still have to fight battles on the state level and on the local level with taxes and ordinances? It's not going to be good.
It's not a free market like it was. That's for sure.
Now we have to win now, and we have to clean up our appearance now.
Yes.
Now. Definitely a lot of PR damage control.
I've said this from the very beginning, and people don't think of things from a political perspective, and you have to, especially now. Politics is perception. Until we are not perceived tobacco, we will have no ability to do hardly anything. And Tristan, that is why I support 2194. Get that perception away from tobacco.
Well, I would support it too if it wasn't so vague.
EVCA.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I have with that is it has that Fred Kelly grant EVCA on it. Now, it's the lesser of the two evils, but it still has its own little agenda.
I don't view it as the lesser of the two evils personally. I view it as a threat, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was thinking about this last night. I was sitting there scheming about, you know, as I usually do, trying to see what's happening, you know, outside the box. What aren't we looking at, and why aren't we looking at it? Don't you just find it a little strange that they showed up in the twilight hour?
No. No. Well,
that's my thing.
But see, here's the thing.
Where have you been? You know what I mean?
I remember you saying
I can
that
agree with you
show,
on that when it comes to the EVCA, but
They're
I don't
scammers,
agree
they
with
are.
you when it comes to 2194. And here's why. It was written in the summer. It was
Oh no, I'm
done in
not.
the
I'm not
summer.
saying that about the bill. I was just talking
Yeah.
about EVCA in general.
Yeah.
I despise them.
Well,
They lied on my show for 2 hours in my face.
Oh, I was watching it, and
yeah.
Tristan, I'll be
Yeah.
honest, guess what I tried doing?
EVCA is.
And
Yeah.
they disappeared on me. I was trying to get them on here because I honestly had questions myself.
Oh, they know. They probably looked at your channel, saw me, and went, "Nah, nah." But hear me with this. With the whole thing with the Hunter bill, okay, is that the way that it's written, and if you really sit back and think about it, it's written to protect the way he vapes.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly. And not only that, it gives the secretary too much power. It's just like the Demon Authority with the vapor product standards. The secretary has the power to quote unquote deem what these standards are going to be. And I mean, it might be the only thing left us to turn to, but it is a bad bill in the sense that we'd be no two-deck mods, only mechanical box mods be gone. And then as far as the batteries, who knows what kind of batteries we'll wind up with. As far as the e-liquid standards, it's set by EMSA and by that institute, so who knows what the hell that's going to be like. But, you know, I've always been against that only because of EVCA. I've had when I started reading about Mark Block being banned from Wisconsin politics for 2 years, and then with the Herman Cain presidential campaign, hundreds of thousands of dollars were unaccounted for during that investigation. I mean, I did this whole thing on the FDA Rule channel.
Mm-hmm.
And, and who knows if he's even a vapor. He was doing combusted cigarettes, and maybe he's just a vapor because he wants to fit in with the crowd. Who knows if he's even a freaking vapor. So, I mean, yeah, this Mark Block, Linda Hansen, they were both working with the Herman campaign thing, stole all that money, and then you got Fred Kelly Grant. He said he never lost a case. I did it on the FDA Fund Rule channel. I showed that he lost a case in the past he was working on. Plus, he stole from his own client, which was exposed on the other show. I never exposed that.
You know who still sells bullion? Pirates.
Yeah. $10,000. Yeah.
Give me your doubloons and your bullion.
I'm a Schwarzball. Yeah, he's a corrupt lawyer. I mean, you can see a corrupt lawyer. You got a crooked politician, and Linda Hansen has no dignity, no respect after going off on you guys with the fucking.
I was just asking questions.
So these are the three characters.
They knew going on my show. That's what I do. I wasn't being an asshole.
I know. You're just
very cordially.
That is your tone.
Being lied to, and then
that's your tone.
I can walk away anytime, and it wouldn't affect me in the least.
Yeah. And they disappeared off the radar.
They are still on the radar.
They are.
Did you catch Saturday's show?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I did watch it, but what was the point?
So there was some kind of event. I don't remember what it was, but somebody was saying, "Hey, man, thanks for inviting us to your event." Blah, blah, blah.
I remember that.
And then they threw a huge hissy fit.
Yeah. I remember that.
And it was a fucking sign-up sheet. Like, are you kidding me? Like, really?
Because
I'd like a seat at the big kids table too, but I don't throw a temper tantrum because this shit doesn't show up at my house. I don't care. It is what it is. But if there's a sign-up sheet and I knew about it, I'd have signed up and shown up.
It probably
was about not going. That's dumb.
It probably was nothing in it for them.
No, there was absolutely nothing in it. Because and then the thread, and then it just follows their mantra of what they do. They want to have somebody to blame to play the victim. They said this was Kassa's doing, and no, it wasn't, bro. There was a sign-up sheet.
Yeah, I did a FDA Funny Rule channel video on Kassa when they came against the EVCA and the whole thing. And that's the only time I could agree with Kassa when they did that. And in fact, they need to do more of that. They need to do more. They do need to do more of that.
I'll be honest, I disagree with a lot of the things Kassa said when it came to that, but I can agree that
that was good that they put their foot down
wanting
on
to
that
do
point.
it face to face and talking. No, it needed to be in writing and not just a pamphlet. It needed to be.
That's what it was about.
Yeah.
That's what it was about.
But
because I can tell you right now, if anybody wants to
out,
talk to me about the Legion, I will do it face to face. I will do it in writing. I don't care. But the fact that they went and handed them a pamphlet like they were some pleb, that's ridiculous. And then had the audacity to threaten them? Like, for real?
It's that attitude coming from Mark Block. It's come on.
Like, how are you going to roll hard on them? Like, give me a break. They are the...
Yeah, they've been around since 2009.
Consumer advocacy group.
No.
How do you attack them?
No. Well, that
makes
who they are. They're corrupt and crooked. That's why. They have no scruples, those guys over there on the EBCA and those guys.
No, now, here was the thing.
And that's the reason why I was very much against the hunter legislation. But I if worse comes to worse, 2018, I could possibly see that as something, but it's still really ultimately not good for us.
And on top of that, how many supporters does that thing have right now? I've actually been watching that too.
Not many. Not many at all.
See what I mean? They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And that pops up on an email every so often. Well, and it's maybe, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50.
What? I didn't catch what you say.
But it doesn't matter how many, because I did a FDA final rule video showing that there was a bill that has nothing to do with vaping. And I think it only had like about 15, 20 co-sponsors on there, and it passed into law within 3 months. So that doesn't really mean anything.
There's 2 co-sponsors on 2194, and there is, I believe, 50 on
it's only 2. See, that tells you what
1196.
And not only that, if 2194 goes through the whole congressional actions next year, and if it became enacted, it takes a whole year before it becomes effective, and we won't have any vaping industry to.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When it comes to that, all they have to do is add. Because honestly, once that goes into effect, once it's voted on,
signed into law, you mean?
Right. Once it's signed into law, it does away with the deeming rule. So therefore, they just have to be compliant within a year of the of the 2194. That is what that is. The effect date is.
The e-liquid standards kick in a year after it's signed into law, after it becomes effective. I don't know what e-liquid companies will be around after that it's signed into law. That's what I'm saying. They're going to hold off for a year. Well, we're not going to stay in business. We'll just go on a vacation for a year, and then we'll come back and start selling e-liquid. It doesn't really make sense.
I'm coming at you as an e-liquid manufacturer myself, and I'm telling you right now, we're sticking around at least until November 8th, when it becomes totally illegal. But the thing, and people are going to do that. People are going to stick around no matter what until it becomes totally illegal.
But when like around May, June, July of 2018, nothing goes in our favor. Those prices are going to come way down. E-liquid for 30 mil, $22 is going to come down to like about $3.99.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see it coming down to $3.99.
Really?
What I see happening is I see it maybe because this is needed to happen in the industry for years.
Unless other companies
come back down to the prices like Steve and I have, 16 to 60.
So wait, you're talking about, just to clarify, you're talking about like during the end times, the price of plummet? No.
You don't think
when people are trying,
down, huh?
What he's saying is trying to get rid of.
You know what I'm saying? They're liquidating their.
They're cashing out. So what you're doing is, you got to remember, is they're going to go up because you're going to have people stockpiling for the vapocalypse.
True, I wasn't thinking of that.
Even on the mods and everything.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Especially mods. Especially mods.
Oh yeah, because it'd be limited. Yeah.
You're now in possession of a collector's item, dispensable. Well, this is a disposable collector's item, meaning one people are going to use because they needs it.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
But yeah, now that I can see. But don't you agree, Tristan? Prices need to come down of e-liquids.
They do and they don't, because the way I look at things is this, right? When some of these companies, when you look at them, like let's say Five Ponds, who does something in a lab, has all the proper paperwork, has done all the proper testing done, has done everything the right way. That shit costs money. So they got to recoup that kind of stuff. When some companies are doing things the right way, I don't mind paying more for the product. It's when they're not doing it the right way, labeling themselves a premium e-liquid and then charging the same as the guy who is doing it right. That is where e-juice loses its value.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree it needs to be made in the lab no matter what.
Like sometimes I love the e-juice reviews with Matty Ice and Jeff, and they did this. I have it saved in my favorites on the FDA front roll, and that White Rhino e-liquid they were doing, the nastiest stuff in the world. You know, it's so funny, but like whatever he said, Jeff says urine cakes, or I don't know.
Urinal cakes.
Yeah, urinal cakes and stuff like that. But it came up, but on the label it says premium juice, you know, and it's really shitty, you know.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Nowadays people throw around the premium word just to charge that higher price.
As if it's real cheese or something.
Yeah, we use the premium word because we are premium e-liquid.
Yeah. Oh, I love
at an affordable price. I mean, but there's people using the premium e-liquid that are not even close to premium.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I want to see how many of our budget juices are still around as of next year.
They go nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I say, it won't be like a collector's item kind of thing, that's for sure.
Yeah, but like, let's use a perfect example. In all honesty, who likes Vape Wild?
I never tried their stuff.
Let's just say this.
And yet on that guide to vaping, they got like #1 across the board.
Because do you know how much they charge? $3 a 10 ml bottle. $3 for a 10 ml bottle of shitty juice that basically I got it from a friend of mine that got it, and he didn't like the apple pie. He didn't think it came out enough. I had already tried Steve's apple pie, and I was like, okay, you know, I've tried a few apple pies. I'll try this one out. I was going to review it. You know what I did?
Throw in the garbage.
Steeped it a month. Still had no flavor whatsoever. Threw it right in the garbage. I was like, I am not reviewing a liquid that if I get it, I can't vape it within a month.
Yeah. Sometimes juices, the only thing good about the juice is the empty bottle, because I save the 30 ml bottles.
I love what Kai says.
Good thing out of it.
Premium e-liquid is about the hype of the product. Quality e-liquid is actually premium, if that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Quality e-liquid. And I'm going to tell you right now, I hate the word e-juice.
Yeah.
Because it's not juice, and it again makes it child appealing. It's juice.
Agreed.
Make it freaking liquid, not juice. Yes, we have one liquid that is a juice, but the only reason it's like that is because every one of ours say liquid, except for that one because it had built a name as e-juice. You're not going to change the name to e-liquid when it's got a name as e-juice. But new companies do not need to come out as e-juice. And yet they're going to still do it. Because that's how people talk about it. People say, oh, I got this e-juice in just a couple days ago. And you know what? This e-juice is amazing. Yeah!
But mainly like what Tristan and those guys on the Vapor Leadership Network try to instill on us is that they need to get rid of those child labeling That stuff is real bad image for us, especially on the Democrat side. A lot.
I have been saying this.
They use that against us all
since I
the time.
first I showed Tristan this one. My second video ever. I was calling out child labels. Yeah. My second video
it's not good for our image at all. I mean, it's bad enough that what's in the bottle. It's bad, it's bad enough there's all desserts and all this other stuff, right? That can entice kids, but then to have the label along with it is you're just asking for trouble.
And Kai is talking about it sells before it's even out. The hype of it sells it. It's not just that. The box sells it, and the packaging sells it. That's what's sad. When you have a gimmick, people want it because it's got a gimmick.
Yeah.
And that's what's sad.
Yeah, like that. What was that? I love cookie crap with the boxes and all that. You don't really need boxes and all this shit.
We don't need a gimmick. If you need a gimmick to sell your fucking e-liquid, your e-liquid is shit. Bottom line. If you need a gimmick to sell this bottle, I mean, heck, $16 for a 60 ml. And we sell it all day, every day.
It's like one of those old 1960s Jaguars. I mean, they're sexy looking cars, but if the thing don't work, can't drive it, what the hell good is it,
And if it doesn't, with me, if it doesn't have any liquid, I mean, if it doesn't have any fucking flavor, I mean, my flavor in my liquids, you'll admit this, Jacob, and I don't know if Tristan has tasted any of them yet, but my flavor is literally so freaking strong you can taste it no matter what you're using it in.
You should send some of your juices to those
Tristan
guys.
has it.
Oh yeah. Just steeping it, you say, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You'll love it. It's a
to me it doesn't even need steep. I get
it.
The next day I vape it. I never steep one bottle. All I tell you, Tristan, is make sure to shake the living daylights out of that lemonade and the Arnold Palmer.
I seen that.
Yeah, it almost looked like it has pulp in it. In a sense, it's cloudy like.
And that's why I love it. It actually, I mean, in all honesty, that right there looks like a freaking cup of lemonade, just a little darker.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, literally, and then like the original, I mean, I go through a bottle of the original a month, a 120. So, I mean, every one of mine, I vape like a madman. Steve's, I vape a couple of them like a madman, but mine, I vape like a madman, every one of them.
Yeah, I like that Cycle X Drama Queen / Insight. That's good stuff.
Great strawberry cream. That was actually, I don't even have that one sitting on my table now. I think it's in my bedroom, sitting next to my bed, because every morning I wake up, I gotta get a vape. I want a vape. Some mornings I'll vape this.
Because I don't like a lot of strawberries. I'm sort of tired of all the strawberry vapes out there. Too many of them. Holy crap. But that's a really good one. It's the only one I really like.
Yeah.
That's why I reordered that. No, that's good.
Dan and I have a friend that he just made a joke about. He's like, it looks like cider's urine sample, but that's just too funny not to say. But you know what, guys? It's already 12:30. Believe it or not, we've went 2 hours. So.
Well, it's a good show.
Very good.
Very nice meeting there, Tristan. You're a good guy, really.
And it's good to actually have you two agreeing on a lot of things.
Yeah.
That happens rarely.
He's an intellectual, plus he's done his research.
Yeah.
Not very many people in the vaping community have done research. I mean, serious research.
But Tristan, I watch your show every Saturday, and whenever you do one during the week, why don't you go ahead and let everybody that is here that maybe doesn't know about your show, go ahead and tell them about it.
cast on the Vaping Legion Network every Saturday night at 11 p.m. And we're trying to bring the Tuesday show back around, but we've been busy, so nobody's really had time for that. But eventually we will. But check us out sometimes. Maybe you'll learn a few things.
Well, I thought your show was Wednesday, not Tuesday.
Tuesdays. Sometimes it goes on to Wednesday. Depends on what everybody's got going on with the work schedule. You know how it is.
Yeah, hopefully it stays mostly Wednesday because I don't want to compete with you. I like having you on when I can.
No doubt.
But Jacob, why don't you go ahead and remind everybody who you are today?
Yeah, I have the FDA Fund Road channel. It's mainly about commentary on vape laws, Congress, executive branch, as well as court rulings. And then some vapor articles, news articles. And then I have the Make It Right series. I constructively criticize other channels. Sometimes you'll make it on the Made It Right series, which you get praise. And I also have a $250 all-time No Bullshit Award 2017. So far, Vaping Minuteman is in the first and second. Tommy Vapors is in third. Vaping Legion Network was in the top 3, by the way, but you guys got knocked down to 4th. But maybe, you never know, man. Because of that appropriations bill language thing. Anyway.
But like I told you, I don't even do this show for stuff like that. I do it just to tell people.
Yeah, and then the other thing is the Make It Right series every Tuesday night, 7 p.m., 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And by the way, you're definitely open invitation for you, Tristan, anytime. If you could fit that in your schedule, that'd be great.
Don't count on it, man. My schedule is...
That's okay. It's radical. But I mean, anytime if you want to, sincerely.
And I do want to remind...
It's open to you.
I do want to remind everybody, Minuteman Vapors, like I said, I am going to start a consulting side to the website. I just got to get that up. But I do have Crimson coils on there, which is one of my favorite pre-made coils. And they actually come at a decent price. I'm surprised how cheap. As well as some wicking. And then I'm going to be putting up some new products here within the next couple of weeks to throw up on there. But if there's anything that you want, send me an email and give me a chance to see what I can do for you. Because I can normally do less than... I normally try to do less than what online websites have it. And then you still get the 10% off using NVR Live on your order. So, I mean... And if you're doing it through... that I've told you about it, and you're coming at me and you say, hey, I watch NVR Live, bam, I'll go ahead and give you the 10% if it's through a consulting time. But don't forget, guys, as always, we say this every time. Jacob won't agree with me, but go out there, sign up for CASA and the Vaping Militia. Go join Tristan over there on Convicted Vapes every Saturday. I'm over there almost every week. As long as I don't have anybody here at the house, or if I have free time, I'm definitely there. Join Jacob. Sometimes I'm able to get off work at a decent time. I wasn't able to tonight, but we're going to finish this out like we always do. And Tristan, if you want to join us, you're more than welcome. You got to fight for your rights to vape. Yeah.
So, if I could shake your hand there, Tristan, it would be cool, man. All right.
So we're down now.